Hi everyone, it's Tammy and welcome to my craft room here at Creative Girl Vintage. Today I'm going to show you my recipe for making this crispy, grungy, scary Halloween paper. We're going to be using liquid dye and we're going to be using coffee. So let's get started. I'm going to be using a smaller size tray and smaller pieces of paper today since I'm filming. If you want to use full sheets of paper, just grab a bigger tray, okay? So also protect your work surface from splashes, and I put on a pair of rubber gloves too. So I'm going to start out, this is like my basic recipe. I have got a cup here of hot water and I boiled this, okay? And then I've got the liquid RIT dye, and this is the Sunshine Orange. Give it a little shake, and going in with 1 tablespoon of this. Okay, this is kind of my base recipe. If you want things, more subtle, a lot lighter, start out using maybe a teaspoon, and work your way up to what you want. If you want things a lot bolder, add a lot more. All right, I'm adding a cup of cold water to this. Okay, and besides looking like we just made a beautiful tray of Jell-O, our dye is ready. Let me grab paper and let's get to it. I'm starting out with just a multi-purpose paper here, copy paper, printer paper, and you can see how fast that takes that dye. And I'm just going to lay it here on some paper towels just to kind of drip dry. And using that same paper, another technique you can do is crumple things up, put that in there. Try not to soak your paper very long because it will just really start ripping on you and get very weak. All right. This is one of my favorites right here. This is an old dictionary page. And my husband found this big giant dictionary on the curb and brought it home to me. Look how cute that looks. And it had a musty smell that I can't seem to get out. But I noticed if I dye it, the smell's gone. So that was really a bonus right there. This is just a paper doily. You can see how nice that looks. And you'll notice like the less finish that's on the paper, the better it'll take the dye. These little paper doilies, you can see they dye cute, but you can see that it wants to reject the dye just a little bit. And then I've got here's just a piece of lace. Now this here, you can go ahead and soak this. Nothing's going to happen to it, but this piece of lace here did take the dye really quick. Okay, so this is the orange. I just want to show you another color, and I'm also going to show you some coffee as well. This is the liquid dye in black, and I mixed it up identical to the way we did the orange. And index card. What surprised me with this black is I really didn't get black. Now, I could probably keep adding dye to see where it goes, but I got this like purpley dark color that I thought was really nice. This is a piece of just cardstock paper, which takes the dye really pretty. And when the paper's ripped, it kind of makes a really nice edge too. Okay, and then this was a piece of muslin. Let's see what this does. Okay. Yeah, we're definitely not getting a true black out of this at all. Like I said, we can probably add a lot more, but it is really nice for Halloween. I like it for Halloween. Oh, and I was starting to do this one of these tags, which, hold that in there for a second. It's stronger. That's really nice too. Okay, let's let these drip dry. Before we go to the next step, I just want to show you real quick the coffee, which is my favorite. Right, my coffee recipe I used was the cup of hot water, just like we did the dye. And then I used 3 tablespoons of an instant coffee. This has been knocking around here for a while. I think it's just in one big lump. Any instant coffee works, even from the dollar stores or whatever. It all works really good. And then I added the cup of cold water to it too. So it's basically the same way, except 3 tablespoons of the coffee. This is truly my favorite. You can put a lid on this and save it. Put a couple drops of rubbing alcohol in here, and it's not going to mold on you, and it'll last for a really long time. I was very surprised at how long it lasts. And of course, the coffee dye is not necessarily just for Halloween. You can dye up all these nice pages for your journals and projects. And look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay. This is a little bit of cotton trim, which really takes to that coffee. Super nice. That's really grungy. Okay, I'm going to throw that lace in there, let that soak for a sec. And then we've got, of course, the dictionary page, which in coffee dye I think looks amazing. Okay, and here's a tag. Okay, and I think with the coffee, just like the dye, if you want things really, really grungy, you know, just up the amount of coffee that you put in your water. Okay, look at that. Beautiful. And a paper doily here. Okay, and one of the things that I did as well, let me just grab, sorry about that, let me show you. This is the crinkled up orange that we used, and I'm just going to kind of throw the edges in that a little bit in the coffee. So I've got the orange with all that brown grungy coffee on there. So, you know, you can sort of like do a double thing with your colors. All right, let's take this lace out. Give it a little squeeze. Okay, we've got some nice distressed lace. All right, we've got our dyeing done. Let's move on to the next step. I have layered all of our pieces on a cookie sheet and preheated my oven to 200 degrees. It's okay if they overlap a little bit. Try not to let them overlap too much. We're going to pop this in the oven for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, I check it, and if anything feels a little bit damp still, just flip it over, give it 2 or 3 more minutes. Be sure to stay with your oven because we are baking paper here, so you don't want to walk off and forget about it. So, you know, just be mindful of that. And let's go put this in the oven and bake this paper. Here we go. Out of the oven. I did 5 minutes, and when I checked it, some of the heavier papers, like the cardstock, still felt a little bit damp. I just flipped everything over, and I did 2 more minutes, and it came out all really crunchy and nice. So the final step that you can do here, and it's optional, but I think you're going to really like it. It makes your paper super nice. Let's do this index card. I'm grabbing my iron. I have it set on like a medium heat, and I'm going to iron this paper, and it just gives it a super nice feel and look. And it's just so crunchy and Halloween-y and cute. Where's that? Oh, here's that. This is the crumpled up one that we did with the orange and then put the coffee on it too. This one is one of my favorites to use. And here's that muslin. Beautiful. How that came out. I mean, I know this is supposed to be black, but you got to admit, this is really cute. This is really nice. And here's that coffee dyed tag, which is always a classic. All right, I'm going to show you real quick. I did a bunch of different things. I dyed up a bunch of different things, and let me show you how those turned out. I just wanted to mention really quick, I know that sometimes things can look just perfect on camera, but there's a lot of behind the scenes messes that can happen. And I know I mentioned, you know, we are working with dye, protect your work surface. When I'm working in my kitchen, I have a gigantic old beach towel that I just lay out and cover the entire counter. I've got a white quartz countertop, and I did get some of the orange dye on it. the soft scrub with bleach took it up immediately. So I'm not sure about other counter surfaces, but that worked great with the splash that I had. And when I dumped out my containers of dye, I just very carefully dumped them down the drain and got my hot soapy water all in the sink and on my trays. And it cleaned up perfectly. There was just wasn't a trace of dye anywhere. So just, keep that in mind as you're splashing around in this stuff, because it really can get messy. But it has, it's kind of worth it, because look at this gorgeous little stack here. Here's the doilies, and look at this. This is the cheesecloth. I love that. The cheesecloth is great for Halloween things. There's some fabrics. I love this index card here. This is some cupcake wrappers, and I'm not going to show you that because I've got a project coming up for you, and we're going to be doing that. It's so cute. And look at this little tiny envelope. There's so many things that you can just put in your coffee and in your dyes that look so good. And once again, I love how the black, this purple came out from that black dye. Cheesecloth in orange, paper towel that was just saturated from coffee dyeing things, and I went ahead and baked it, and oh my gosh, I love how that turned out. This is a sewing pattern that turned out really good too. And the laces and all of the different color papers in here. This is a great thing for your stash. This is those old dictionary pages. So the old book pages, dictionary pages, they look so good. I rubber stamped on this one here. And this is brown paper bag that has been put in the coffee. Thank you for spending time crafting with me today. I appreciate it so much, and I hope that you were inspired to make some grungy paper for your Halloween crafting stash. So I will see you soon because, like I said, I've got some Halloween projects for you. So take care, everybody. Until I see you again. Bye for now.